Welcome to the Home Building Hub, your essential podcast guide to building your new home. Hosted by industry experts Colin and Darren Brennan, this conversational podcast will help better educate you about all things new home building so you can avoid costly mistakes and enjoy your building experience to the fullest, no matter which home builder you choose.
G'day folks, welcome to the Home Building Hub. You are with Colin and co-host Darren Brennan as always, and welcome to this very happy hay fever day for me, Darren. So forgive the voice for all the listeners and the viewers out there. Today is, when we're recording this, Melbourne Cup Day actually. We've got a beautiful sunny day which is coming our way, Daz. So we're excited to get this couple of episodes done and off we go. So how you going, Daz? What are we going to talk about today?
Mate, going really well, thank you. And you look like you've been beaten up, Cole, with those eyes on there. So if you're listening in,
Puffy.
paint a picture. Cole's eyes are looking very, very shady right now. Anyway, sorry to hear about the hay fever, mate. Don't give me an hour and I'll be suffering it as well. So looks like one of those cracking spring days with plenty of dry grass out there to, settle into our eyes and ruin our day, basically. But it'd be better than betting on the cup race, though, mate, because that's another way to ruin your day too, I reckon.
Yep.
I'm good at backing donkeys, so I won't be backing any today. But anyway, mate, today we're going to talk about the new gas charges that have just come into force in Victoria. So I think it's really relevant right now to be talking about that. It's something that has only come in as of the 1st of October. So, we want to just make sure that the listeners are really aware of what they're in for, and what's happening out there. So I guess to kick that off, there's certainly going to be some charges you need to be aware of that relate to the new gas regulations. Some of those are covered in your contract, and so the builder looks after some of those. And other charges you might need to cover as the buyer, as connection fees, etc., when you settle the home. So again, in your contract it'll be noted, but and you'll talk through some of that detail, Colin. But it's certainly worth being aware so that you're not surprised when it happens. So the other bit we'll touch on is some of the other connections. So if you're not aware, there are other connection fees and stuff that you need to be aware of. So we'll touch on those. I guess this is to help you find out about who's paying for what so that you can budget for that accordingly. So we don't want you getting a surprise and then all of a sudden you're moving into your house and you're scrambling to come up with this money, because it's a lot of money actually, Cole, in the end. So, it's surprising how much that is. So I guess also to set the tone of this is in your building contract, there'd be pages. It's basically a table that outlines the fees and they're estimates only. So they're not, guaranteed that's the exact amount, but they put it in pretty close to what it is, that the builder does not include in the contract, right? So these are not covered in the contractual price. These additional costs to that you have to go and pay. They're there to outline you, to tell you what to pay and allow you how much to budget for. So again, you don't get any surprises. But maybe, Cole, let you get into the detail. I know you're right across this probably more so than I am. Give us some of the details of that, mate, if you can.
Yeah, so as you said, if you're looking for these third-party charges, it's always got to be in the contract. But what we're going to talk to you about today is there's some, I guess on October 1st, 2024, Essential Services Commission updated the Gas Distribution Code of Practice to state that on the 1st of January 2025, gas distribution connection charges will increase. So what we can tell is that basically it's going to range from 1,600 to 2,200 ish, around there, depending on who does it. And I guess it also depends on your builder. If a builder may wear that charge or not, it's unlikely, but there may be some who do it. But really, in our case, I can only talk about us, Daz, but you, the client, will be paying for that 1,600 to 2,200. In our case, we're allowing, I think, just over 2,000 in the third party table there as a heads up for you. And what that really means is, to make it really simple, if you don't have your gas line called up by the 1st of January 2025, you're on site, the gas line's called up. Essentially, our understanding is that the new rate will apply to you. So if you are just getting a slab down or you're on site and you haven't really reached towards lockup, or probably fixing those stages, you're probably likely to incur this if your gas line's not called up. Now, a builder can call it up early and hit and hope, but what we're trying to get you to understand is it's not really in the builder's control. Okay, it's going to be a charge that the supplier passes on. Okay, so
So
that's to probably
I was going to say, Colin. So then, that being the case, you'd be suspecting that the builder will issue a variation to the contract, or are you suspecting that that'll come uh, after that? The consumer, the home owner, will actually just get that charged to them later.
after
How do you see that playing
after. So it'll be
out?
on
After.
their bill. So the bill to connect will be given on their first bill, is what our understanding is, and that's instead of going to be $50 that we allowed for traditionally, it's going to be 2,000 ish, somewhere around that mark. So that's something to be really mindful of and budget for. And for those on site right now, you need to be understanding. I need to allow for that. And you need not, and I say, please, please, please do not blame your builder for this, because often when these things happen, we keep getting this, oh, the builder just raised the cost of things and they're trying to win more margin, all this sort of stuff. This has nothing to do with the builder. It has to do with compliance, it has to do with, what are they called, Darren? The Essential Services Commission issuing this. We don't have a choice, and nor do you. It's just a heads up for you, the home buyer, wherever you are in your journey, that this is coming. Okay, this is actually going to happen. We're talking what, at recording this, Darren? It's the 5th of November. We're
Yep.
talking 8 weeks away.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so
far.
we're giving everyone a heads up about it, what to expect, etc. So that's the main one we want to talk about today. But Darren, I guess in the theme of the topic, let's talk about separate to the gas connection fee, the things that the builders have to do that will be and should be covered in your contract by the builder.
Yeah, sure. I'll touch on those. I think, Cole, what we're probably not really sure of is this a cash grab? Not sure. Is this being subsidised previously and now not being subsidised? Again, not exactly sure on that. Or is this just a path to try and force people down the route of going all electric? So, is it a political play? And we don't know the answer on that. Is where we're at, unless you've got some crystal ball on that one,
No, I
Colin.
don't.
But yeah,
No, I don't, Darren, and I don't think it matters. Like, it is what it is. We
well,
have
you're going to
to.
get charged. Yeah,
Yeah, you're going to get charged. So where it comes from, we just don't. We'd be guessing. So, and
yep,
it's not going to help you one way or another. You'll have to pay for it. So
yeah, for
for us,
sure.
it's more about making people aware of it, Darren, and that's what we're here for.
Absolutely. So, separately to the gas connection fee, there's also new gas regulation being applied with some prices included. So, it's going to, and it applies to all new builds in Vic. The fee is likely to be around $900, there or thereabouts, and should be included in the current quotes and contracts. But please be in mind that those of you that have already signed a contract, you may be given this as a variation because it does need to be complied with. So the contract does allow for that. So if you're wondering, why is my builder giving me a bloody variation for this? I already signed the contract. The contract allows that if there's any change in regulation, that the builder's able to pass that cost on, and they obviously would. So, and again, that cost will be dependent on what the builder and what their trades, etc., are charging to do so. The fee is for our builders to comply with the new code, which will require a copper pipe, a diversion kit, and a shut-off valve for future-proofing the home. This future-proofing is to enable the gas to be shut off safely at a later stage if for any reason. So you might choose to go all electric down the track, and they need to shut the gas off. This is to allow for this to occur. So, yeah, that's basically what it is. And that's coming into place. Is that from the 1st of January as well, Cole, or is that now?
No, I think that's now.
Yeah, right.
I actually don't know the date, to be honest, Darren, but we've been putting it in our quotes, I would say, for at least 2 months around there
Yeah, cool.
since we found out about it. So in our case, it's $895. Some builders will wear it. Some builders will have it cheaper. Some builders will be more. But just let you know that there's some extra things, extra goodies that the builder needs to do to comply. So that's going to happen in all builds.
And what
It
you'll
just
often
does.
find
Yeah.
is the builder will roll that into their standard inclusion at some point
Yep.
because it's required on every home. So then it gets absorbed into that base house price.
Yep.
May not be with all builders, but you certainly may find that with a lot of builders they'll do that. So yeah, pretty much where it's at. Cole,
So,
tell us a bit about some of the other connection costs that people should be aware of.
yep. So I think with these sorts of things, I mean, as we said, we're trying to make you aware. So you can ask the question of your builder, of your building consultant. Okay, tell me about the gas things. What am I paying for? What are you paying for? Are you covering the new code? These sorts of things. For us at the moment, Darren, we don't roll it into a base price. We're actually putting it as a line item just to keep it separate deliberately. A, so that we know that it's done, and B, that the client knows it's being done. Okay, so that should make it pretty clear. But as for the other things that are often asked about, obviously, electricity is another utility that needs to be covered in most cases by the buyer, not the builder. I am aware that some builders do pay for electricity during construction, but my understanding, Darren, is that most don't, and we
Yep.
don't. Those bills come to you via the supplier that you sign up for when you sign your contract. Basically, there's a form there that you sign saying, "Yep, I'll agree to use the one that you've elected," and that, I guess, the fee varies, but it can be, you know, I don't know, I am guessing, but it could be $900 to $1,000 just to get the electrical pit into the meter box, like connecting one A to B. And that's based on single phase power, right? So that's for that. And then there can be additional for the running costs of electricity throughout the build. So these things you need to be aware of. But as we said at the top, there is a table in your contract. It'll tell you, here's what we're forecasting these third party expenses to be. So it's not like you're not informed, but we're just highlighting it for you. And then probably, Darren, outside electricity, there's other ones, obviously water, NBN, telephone, all those utilities that you'll need to understand and connect to. So with water, you don't really have a choice. You get, whoever provides the water in your shire, council or zone or area or whatever it may be. They will be happy to send you an invoice, and they do very quickly along the way. So you will get that via email or usually post. NBN, telephone, that's stuff that you will set up. So the builder will provision for and install to the point they need to, so that you can come along and call a NBN or phone provider and have them arrange the connection from, I guess, essentially, the street to the house, or the house to the modem, so to speak, Darren. So that can take a bit of time, but that's an extra cost that you'll pay. You pay a connection fee, and then you
Yep.
pay a monthly fee thereafter. It's not something a builder is responsible for. We can't tell you to use Telstra or use Optus or use any of the others, right? That's your decision, but it's at your cost. Okay, so I think that it's worth understanding that a builder uses preferred suppliers, to get your home to a point where it is now ready to be connected. And that is in the form of gas, in the form of electricity, water, all those things, those utilities. It's on you to then pick up the phone, and you can stay with the one the builder's got, or you can just select your own, if it's an Origin or whatever it may be. It doesn't matter. We're not really, we don't really care who you choose, but it's just sort of giving you a heads up. Did that get explained all right, Darren, or anything else to add?
I think we've covered off pretty well, Cole. I guess it is a cost that's generally separate to your contract and that you need to budget for. So it's not part of your loan. And again, I think sometimes that surprises people because they see it in the front of the contract, they see the table, they see these costs, and they're like, "Oh, that's already in my contract." No, it's not. We're letting you know it's not in your contract. That's why it's on this table. So just be aware, and then you don't have any surprises. And that's what we want to do, is make sure that you're as you know open-eyed as you can be to these sort of items, so that you're not getting a curveball later and like, holy dolly, I've just moved in my house and I've got to pay $2,000 for my gas. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, be aware of it. Absolutely. So I think that's it, Darren. I think that's nice and short and sharp and educational, and creating good awareness for people of what's happening right here today, as we try our best to educate you and make you aware of these things. So again, as always, guys, thank you for watching or listening, and we I guess always have this thing at the end where we say, if you've got any questions, you've got any feedback, please jump on the website. It is homebuildinghub.com.au. We've been receiving a lot of positive feedback lately, which is really, really nice to hear. Direct phone calls, emails, etc. So thank you to those people. Please leave us a 5-star review on the platform you're on. We might leave it there, Daz. So thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks for listening to the Home Building Hub. As part of the podcast, we have to be a little careful to cover ourselves on a legal standpoint. So we do have a disclaimer. Whilst we're all about providing value to you, this podcast should not be considered legal or financial advice. It does contain general information only, and you should seek out independent professional advice on your own personal situation before you make any legal or financial decisions.
1,